Hey guys, it's Lauren. Hey guys, it's Lauren. Right off the bat, this is my editing Instagram and you should go follow it if you don't already. So today's video is going to be a very highly requested and fun video because today I'm going to tell you guys how I balance Instagram editing, being a YouTuber, and being a senior in high school. Yikes. Okay, so before I talk about the techniques that I use now to balance my time, let's go back to the past, freshman year Lauren, and talk about what you shouldn't do because I did make a lot of mistakes. First thing that I did that you should not do. Don't stay up till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, just so you can post the next day. I genuinely thought if I did not post every 3 to 4 days, the world would stop spinning on its axis. To the point where like it would be midnight, wouldn't have an edit idea, but I would force it out of me just so I could post the next day. And guess what happened? The edit flopped, no one liked it, I was tired. I went into world history wanting to die. Another thing you shouldn't do that like I don't even want to admit I did, but like I have to just so you guys will learn. Don't pretend you're sick from school just so you can edit throughout the morning so you can post by like 3 p.m. It is one single edit, one moment in time. It will not matter in a week. And just for a more general theme, school always comes before editing, like, because in hindsight, getting a 60 on your bio quiz is gonna be a lot worse than not posting on a Thursday evening. Okay, now that we've discussed freshman year me, let's get into present day me. So like this video says, I am a senior in high school, and here are just some of the things that I'm tackling day to day as a senior. I'm applying to 14 colleges. I'm taking 5 AP classes, and I'm taking 2 honors classes, and I'm a teaching assistant for video production. So I have a very, very full schedule. So here's some things that I do to maintain my social blade, all while being a student. Okay, so let's start off with YouTube because this is a lot shorter and simpler than Instagram. Basically, I just treat my YouTube channel as if it were a part-time job, which it actually is because your girl is monetized. When you have a job, there are strict hours you need to follow. You can't just skip your job to watch Netflix or else you'll get fired. And you know, in this case, I can't really get fired from YouTube, but I make sure to allocate the same amount of time for YouTube that I would allocate if I was working at a grocery store or Pliables or something like that. I don't know. And I don't treat it like a job in the way where I feel like I'm forced to do it, like, oh, like I gotta film a YouTube video, gotta clock into my Canon camera and sit on this chair. Like, no, that's not it at all. And as you could probably assume, this is not the traditional job. It was basically a fun hobby that I like to do in my free time, turned into a job. So I'm super grateful that I can do something that I genuinely enjoy while also getting, you know, the coin. So just because I don't have the traditional job doesn't mean that I treat YouTube like it's optional or it's just a hobby. I treat it like any other part-time job that a high schooler would get. And that again does help me with organizing my time and being productive and growing my channel. So yeah. Okay, so I'm sure the grand majority of you guys here probably aren't YouTubers. You're probably just Instagram editors who do this as a hobby but seem to have no time to do this hobby because of how much schoolwork you have. So my first tip would be to allocate a weekly time where you will be editing. For me, this is almost always Friday nights into Saturday mornings because that's when I have the least schoolwork and I can stay up till odd hours of the night and not have to worry about waking up exhausted for school the next morning. I'm personally like a night owl. Like, I'm most productive at night in absolutely everything, in studying, in college applications, in editing, but that just happens to be the time that is right for me usually. And I'm saying usually because this is not a universal rule that every single Friday I'm filming and editing a YouTube video. And that kind of transcends into my next point. Do not compromise your social life for Instagram editing. Like, if something socially with your friends comes up or a family event comes up, don't just be like, hey, I'm not gonna come because I'm gonna make this 15-second edit of Jughead from Riverdale. Like, don't do that. Here's a good example. A couple weeks ago at the start of the week, I was like, okay, I'm making an edit on Friday. I'm filming a YouTube video Saturday morning. Like, it's gonna happen. I'm posting on this day. And then Friday night comes around and my mom's like, yo, you wanna watch Criminal Minds? And I was like, yeah, a little bit. So then I'm like, okay, I'll do it on Saturday. And then Saturday night comes around and my friend's like, do you wanna go to a haunted house? And I'm like, yeah, I wanna go to a haunted house. And I did so without guilt, without remorse. And then so the following weekend is when I dedicated my time to making a YouTube video and editing. So it's that balance between compromising your time that you need to find. So what I suggest you do is allocate a time each week. This is like an approximation of when you think you'll be the least busy and when you think you'll be the most productive. But like I said, do not force anything because the minute you force yourself to start producing edits, it's not gonna be your best work. You're going to be miserable. And what, just for a couple views? Like, so the next tip, which is probably the most important one, is the power of pre-planning. planning. I cannot stress how important it is to pre-organize and pre-plan absolutely everything. So for example, one thing I do is that while I'm doing my homework, I simultaneously listen to music and kind of create that edit in my head, if that makes sense. So like while I'm getting my work done, I'm also filled with tons of inspo that by the time I have free time to make an edit, it's not like I'm just sitting there unmotivated like I don't want to do this. Because when you're unmotivated, you will find any excuse to not edit. You'll be like,
my dog has to go get a new tuxedo, oh my god.
But as the week goes on and you kind of like formulate these ideas, you know, think of audios you may want to use, watch other edits on Instagram and get inspo. You know, when you finally reach that time to make the edit, it comes so much more easy. And not only will you have fun editing because you have all this inspo, it'll go a lot faster. So what I like to do is in between homework, I take little 15-minute breaks like we all do to, you know, go on TikTok, Snapchat, and Instagram. And when I'm on Instagram, I just watch a ton of edits on my Explore page. And when I see a transition I like, I make sure to write it down in my notes app and then add it to a tab I have on Instagram called Inspo. Let me actually get my planner 1 second. Okay, so here's a page I just found from the week before school started. So I knew I was gonna be super busy going into senior year, so I actually pre-made 2 edits and I posted them like 4 to 5 days apart so I wouldn't have to edit that first week of school. So here it is, can you see that? So the title is Before School. So it says finish Ursula edit, which I did finish that. And then here I just have little notes that I jotted down throughout the week of transitions that came to mind that I wanted to use. So as you can see, camera plus red carpet, I wanted to do that as the intro. I had split cube, I wanted to try that for the first time. And I was really excited to make this edit, so much that I spent the entire Saturday before school started making it. And this isn't because I forced myself to, I just got such a burst of inspiration that I wanted to sit down for like 16 hours straight and just make it. For me personally, I am not an incremental editor. I know if I take breaks, I'll just get distracted. So again, I just do it in one sitting, but that's what works for me. And actually, this is an area where school and editing alike combine. For example, for school, when you're studying for a test, your study habits may be different than the study habits of your peers. You may work best if you're glued to your desk for 15 hours straight, you know, don't take phone breaks and just look at the material, while as your friend may be more productive if they study in increments of 20 minutes. The same exact thing goes for editing. You need to pinpoint what makes you most productive. So just listen to that gut feeling. It'll lead you in the right place. So this one I posted right when school started, and then I made this one the day after that, and I didn't post it till around 2 weeks later. And again, I just listed some transitions I wanted to do. So I wanted to do the split cube, and I wanted specifically to flip a book out of a cube, which I did end up doing. So I'm actually a very big neuroscience person. I'm applying as a neuroscience major to college. And neuroscience research shows that you're 42% more likely to do something if you write it down. So the next thing is, do not try to find time where you know there's just no time. So for example, there was one week a couple weeks ago where I had to read like 20 pages of bio. I had like an English quiz, I had a Spanish quiz, I had a Spanish assignment. What else goes on in my life? A lot of calc homework, a lot of stats homework. At the beginning of the week, I wasn't putting myself under this false impression like, yeah, I'm gonna have this YouTube video ready by Thursday, or I'm gonna have this edit ready by Friday. Like realistically, I knew it wasn't gonna happen. But if you try to find time where there isn't, and you're like studying for 20 minutes, then stopping, and then editing for an hour, 2 hours, not only are you gonna bomb your quiz, the edit is going to be horrible. Because while you're studying, you're just thinking about editing, and then while you're editing, you're just thinking about how you should be studying. So in this situation, you lose either way. So you very much need to decipher, okay, this is time that needs to be spent solely studying, and then this is where I have free time, this is when I should be editing. And the last tip I have is to think about the future. It may be that right now what feels more important is posting that 30-second video on Instagram and maintaining your X amount of followers. But what's gonna be more important in the next 5 years is that you didn't fail senior year bio. But at the end of the day, editing is a hobby and school is something that you should prioritize over that. So like for me, Columbia University is my absolute dream school. I just sent in my application 2 days ago, which is like so scary for me, but let's manifest that I get in. And you know, having 75,000 YouTube subscribers and 100,000 Instagram followers were some of my main extracurriculars that I think definitely are a strong point to my application. But that would mean absolutely nothing if I didn't have the grades to back that up, which I do believe I do. So in any future pursuits, if you want to go into editing, if you want to go into medicine like I am, while editing is a great hobby to have and being able to grow your Instagram page shows that you're great at communication, you have charisma and passion and talent, that can easily be overshadowed if your academics are just not there. So that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope these tips help. And if you're watching this video right now and you have something to study for or you have homework to do, click off right now before I come to your house and whip you into shape. Okay, bye guys.